from the previous conversation we had, I know you're well informed about the happenings of Debitum. Now I want to put you a little bit to the test and try to find out what your awareness is surrounding, let's say, the very origin story of the Debitum platform, specifically talking about the DEB token. Back in the day, 2017, there was a crowd sale funding, a token generation event where the equivalent of 6 million euros were raised to set up the platform in a nutshell. And ever since, the value of this token has declined drastically, is actually not existent anymore. And many investors that have been part of this crowd sale funding are now complaining there's no utility that would eventually increase the value of the token and maybe generate some sort of return for their initial investment. How well are you aware of this overall situation, and how do you assess the situation as a whole? And do you feel like this is still, let's say, the heritage the new ownership should take care of?
Yeah, as with all things which have a longer period, there's always some baggage to be reckoned with. So regarding any external finance raising, before we entered Debitum, we asked for independent opinions whether there has been any external financing used for financing Debitum or using some kind of financing to buy assets which Debitum owns. So we've relied on regulator's opinion, on Grant Thornton, which is auditor for Debitum, because Debitum is CEO, which stands for Limited Liability Company, DN Operator, so it is a legal entity. And before we entered company, we were doing thorough due diligence about whether this company has ever received any external financing. And we also, apart from regulator and Grant Thornton, external auditor, we also used legal opinions from people from Big Four, and we were provided information that there is no connection with external finance raising whatsoever for Debitum. So we also checked books, whether there has historically at some point, shall we put it simply, whether Debitum has gained any proceeds from external financing, and there was zero evidence that Debitum has used external financing. So our assumption and our understanding before we entered company and buying shares from previous owner was also legally signing documents and checking historic accounts and books that Debitum has not received external financing and to put it simply, has gained nothing from such external finance raises. And also there are no assets bought with external financing, there are no liabilities. So we can comment on what is in Debitum books and what Debitum owns or owes. Unfortunately, we cannot maybe engage in discussion what was previous shareholders' operations or businesses, but for us it was very important to check that there are no outstanding liabilities to third parties. So we feel comfortable because we not only relied on our opinion or what was confirmed by previous shareholder, but also very reputable and third-party auditors, for example. So our position is that Debitum and we have not been raising any external financing. We have not been buying any assets or getting any benefits of any external financing. So that is where we need to limit ourselves in terms of new ownership, Debitum, and there's certain limitations when you enter a company as a new owner. So
I would argue from my perspective the fact that there was some financing in the past, where, let's say through which legal entity whatsoever, I think that can't be argued to an extent. But what I hear from your answers is basically you don't feel there's from the new ownership any responsibility towards certain investors from the past to go after some utility for certain tokens that are connected with the platform still today.
No, I understand what you're asking, but our position is that if one gets a benefit from an external raise, you might be responsible for that. If you have zero benefit, if you have not participated in some activity, then it is quite challenging for us to engage even in a discussion where other people were maybe raising other financing. We have never been raising that external financing. Platform has never used that financing, and sometimes it happens that when you enter a company which was owned by a previous owner, later on some things pop up, and there's always discussion where you draw the line, which is the responsibility from new owners and which is responsibility maybe from previous owners. So we found our comfort in again verifying it also by third parties and asking third party opinion. Has company been associated with fundraise? No. Has company got any benefits which would pass on to the new shareholders? No. So that is where we kind of draw the line, and we think it's fair and reasonable.